the highest gains in several months. Prices for single-family homes also rose in Hernando and Pasco, as the shortage of available homes showed no immediate sign of easing. In today's In-Depth, our Erica Regan sits down with a local broker associate to discuss what effect some of the rising interest rates could have on the housing market.
Joining us now, Liane Jamason from Smith & Associates Real Estate. Thank you so much, Liane. You have several offices in the Tampa Bay area. Thanks for talking to us about the housing situation right now.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So since the housing market collapsed, we're seeing a rebound, a local recovery for our housing market, but a seller's market for some homes, a buyer's market for others. Talk about what we're seeing.
Yes. So we are at historic lows for inventory under 500, 600,000. We are at about a 2.4 month supply of inventory, which is very, very low, very, very competitive in those price ranges. Once you start to get up over 600,000, it becomes a little bit more of a buyer's market, and then up over $1 million, it's very much a buyer's market, about 18 months of inventory. So
let's talk about the seller's market more specifically, and what happens when you have multiple offers on one of those homes. Of course, everyone's hopes and dreams, once they pick that home, it's tied into that, and they're hoping for the best. What happens when you have multiple offers?
So yes, there's a couple things you can do as a buyer to put yourself in a better position. First of all, make sure that your realtor is a strong negotiator. Make sure that you limit the contingencies that are in the contract. And something new that we're seeing is something called an escalation clause. So I thought maybe we can chat a little bit about that.
Talk about that escalation clause.
So for example, let's say that you have a new listing out that's $100,000, just to use round numbers, not that there's too many of those out there. And your agent calls the listing agent who says, yes, we have multiple offers coming in. So you attach an escalation clause to your offer, and it basically says that you will pay X price for the home, and you'll increase your offer in increments of a certain amount up to a maximum price. So maybe you say, I will start my offer at $100,000 with $1,000 increments up to $110 is my max. So this can be a way to beat out another buyer. If maybe a buyer submits an offer for $108, then your offer becomes now $109, and you could win that. But the disadvantage is you're kind of showing your hand to the seller that you're willing to pay up to $110. They might just counter you at $110.
I see. So when should you not use that then? That's an automatic process. I'm guessing it saves time.
Yeah, it does save time. It's like I said, if you know this is the one and you have to have it, and you don't care if the seller knows what your bottom line price is, then that's a good time to use it. You wouldn't use an escalation clause if you're not absolutely positive there are multiple offers on the property.
And we're talking about the Tampa Bay area. Where in Tampa Bay, where are the hot locations right now?
So anywhere where there are great school districts, so Plant School District, South Tampa, West Chase, Fishhawk Ranch, these are all very popular areas. We're seeing a surge in the Heights area as well, just because very affordable homes and people like the historic districts in downtown St. Pete. So these are some of the hot ones that we're seeing.
So people need to think about that escalation clause if they're looking there in terms of saving time. Does it help the buyer in terms of the seller in terms of the seriousness of the offer? Is that another time to think about
I think it does, and I've seen sellers get very excited when they get an escalation clause, because they know that they're serious, they know that they're going to get top dollar for their home, and they're not leaving money on the table then.
Let's talk about the interest rate, the potential increase. We're expecting an increase in the interest rate.
Yes.
How does that factor in for someone considering buying their home? How should they consider that?
So for every 1% that the interest rate increases, you're having about a 10% reduction in what you're going to qualify for on a mortgage. So that can be pretty significant. It can raise the amount of your monthly payment and then lower what you actually qualify for. So it's definitely something, if you're kind of on the fence about buying, you definitely want to lock that in and lock in your rate as soon as you can.
Something to talk about with the mortgage broker.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Liane. Any other advice do you have for those people out there looking forward to buying their first or second home in this market right now?
Okay. So whenever we're in a hot market, there are a lot of things that come out of the woodwork. We'll sell or buy your home for 1%. We will pay all your closing costs. We will sell your home in 30 days or we'll buy it. Buyer beware.
All right.
These things are not always what they seem.
One other question. You were talking about homes over that $500,000 mark. Your advice for those people in that market?
Yeah, so It's still a good market, but you have to price your home accordingly and make sure that your home is in the best condition it possibly can be, because buyers have a lot more to choose from and they're picky.
Those first-time home buyers, what's your advice for that first-time home buyer?
Make sure you're pre-qualified, or pre-approved actually. There's a big difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved. Find a good realtor, read reviews online, find somebody that's a strong negotiator.
That difference, I didn't realize it. And talk about the difference, the pre-qualified versus pre-approved.
So I like to say pre-qualified is like you saying to me, I make $50,000 a year, and I write down and go, okay, you're approved. If you pre-approve, it means you show me your tax returns and you show me your bank statements, and the lender actually verifies that you make $50,000 a year, and they actually have evidence of what you really qualify. It's not just word of mouth.
So is it the buyer's decision when they meet with the lender to decide, I'm only going to go through the pre-qualification process as opposed to pre-approval?
Sometimes buyers don't want to have their credit pulled yet for one reason or another, and you usually have to have that done to get that pre-approval, but to sellers, a pre-approval is much more serious than a pre-qual.
All right, thank you so much, Liane, for giving us this advice. Hopefully it'll help those future home buyers as they go through the process.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
In Destination Space News, today is the day the launch of the SpaceX Dragon resupply